So, hello everybody, this is Bhante, Joe here, and I'm just here at Endagala in the forest here, and thought to record a short Awada for the internet, so thought that could start with a little meditation, so you can lean forward a bit and arch the spine, and look about 3 feet in front, and close our eyes. And can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side, wishing may all beings to my right be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can make the mind infinite, can make it unbounded, all the way to the ends of the universe and beyond, in every dimension. May all beings to my right be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side and our left hand side, wishing may all beings to my right and my left be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side, our left hand side, and in front. May all beings to my right, my left, and in front be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right, our left, in front, behind, in all 4 directions. May all beings in all 4 directions be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right, our left, in front, behind, and above. May all beings in all 4 directions and above be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side, our left hand side, in front, behind, above, below, all around everywhere in every direction. May all beings all around everywhere in every direction be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. Okay, and we can open our eyes and do a short reflection on the Dhamma. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. So, hope that everybody is having a great day wherever it might be. And yeah, I've come out here to Endagala, and this is the kind of end of the rainy season. There's been quite a lot of rain lately, and so there's actually many more mosquitoes than usual. And also, this place, this is a kind of archaeological site, and it's actually next to a farmer's field. And usually nothing too much is going on in that farmer's field. Maybe people doing some farming. But I think today there might have been a family reunion or something like that there, or maybe not family reunion, but many people getting together, maybe friends or so. And so there was kind of people making a fair bit of noise, just now. And so usually one will come out to Endagala, come out to the forest or go to a particular place, and the intention is to go to find maybe some place quiet, maybe some place free from disturbance, some place where there's little noise, and hopefully not too much disturbance from mosquitoes or leeches or these kind of things. But then sometimes one will go in search of these things, and instead one will encounter mosquitoes, one will encounter leeches, one will encounter noise. Now, one of the things that makes these things seem so much worse than they might have been is that if one has gone to a place, if one has come to Endagala, say, 10 times, and 9 out of those 10 times Endagala is a very quiet place, very kind of nice place, then the 10th time, if there's even a little bit of noise, then it can seem very disturbing. But if one has come to, if one lives in a generally noisy area, and Endagala is only slightly less noisy, but there's usually people maybe next to you in the field, maybe talking a little bit. And, if it was a rainier area, it's kind of usually rain, usually leeches, then it would seem like nothing different. Nothing too much has changed. Maybe one day would be a little bit noisier. And then if one went to a place that, if Endagala dropped, the conditions became, quieter than usual. If there became less biting insects than usual, like there is, usually here it's pretty quiet, less biting insects, it would seem like something amazing. And so there is this quality to kind of external, sensual, like things that are experienced through the senses, which relies on deprivation. In other words, one's ability to enjoy things outside of oneself that are might be pleasant to the eye, pleasant to hearing, these kind of things. One's ability to enjoy these things depends to a certain sense on being deprived from them. And one's ability to effortlessly enjoy them depends on it to a certain extent on not having them. It's kind of a paradox of external types of happiness, is that the more one becomes used to them, the less satisfying that these things become. So this is the reason why the Buddha has one establish in one's mind different perceptions. He has one establish in one's mind this perception of impermanence. That is that, say now, Endagala is a kind of a quiet place. It's a place where few people come. It's a place where there's few biting, there's biting insects, but not too many, not so many. Usually this place is a bit windy, and actually some wind just came, and so it blows, the biting insects don't have such a good time up here. So it's a nice place to come and maybe meditate. But the Buddha has one established this perception of impermanence in the mind, because if one doesn't have this, then it's very easy to become used to these conditions. When one becomes kind of used to them, then they lose their kind of power, they lose their impact, and one tends to take them for granted. So he has people establish this perception of impermanence, so that when one comes to a place with good conditions, one knows that they're going to change. And so one uses that opportunity to the best of one's ability. The other aspect of training that the Buddha has to kind of counter this phenomenon of things that one gets used to just becoming normal, the things that one is deprived of becoming excellent, is this quality of heedfulness, at least to counter this phenomenon in ways in line with practicing Buddhism, this quality of heedfulness. In other words, one learns to always be very careful about what one's doing in situations regardless. We come to a place like Endagala, and it's been quiet 9 out of 10 times, walk the same path 9 out of 10 times, but still walking the path here, one develops this perception, I could step on a snake, I could step on whatever it might be, no matter how familiar one might have become. Still, coming to a place like Endagala, one develops this perception that this is a special place. This is a rare opportunity. It's kind of a rare thing to be able to come to the forest to meditate. It's a rare thing to be able to find silence. It's a rare thing to encounter the Buddha's teachings. These things are rare. And so one deliberately makes an effort in one's mind to go against the grain. Go against the grain of letting one's mind go out into the sense world and letting the situations around one become just normal, become just things that one are used to. One develops this quality of heedfulness around them. One develops this quality of not letting one's mind fall into complacency. What this means is that if one comes to a place like Endagala or whatever it might be, one has this opportunity, if one has this perception of impermanence, one has this quality of heedfulness, then one tries to use that opportunity as best one can for the sake of moving forward and developing the mind. Because this is the best thing that one can do with the opportunities that one has for good health, the opportunities that one has for encountering the Buddha's teachings, the opportunities that one has for finding inspiring places to practice, the opportunities that one has for staying with people who will help one on the path of practice. The best way to use these opportunities is for the intention of developing one's mind towards Nibbana. Because the thing about these things is that they tend to seem like they'll never change, which is why it's easy to get used to them. They tend to seem like something one can rely on, which is why it's easy to take them as something one deserves, easy to take them as something that belongs to oneself almost, or kind of become a part of one's world. But there's so many uncertainties in the world, so many vagaries in the world, that even things that one can't predict, those are things that can totally change the scales in an instant. I was here at Endagala one time, and sometimes I come here and this place is kind of very well swept. There's kind of no leaves on the top, very few leaves down there. And I thought, how is this so well swept? It's kind of very unusual that this place is swept like this. I've never see anybody here. And then one day I was sitting here about to record a talk, and these two people came and started sweeping with kind of twigs. It's kind of the only time I've ever seen them. And they said the archaeological department was coming for an inspection tomorrow. So there is actually a sign on the road down there, and it could be the case that one day, a sign on the road saying this way to Endagala, and it could be the case that one day they build a road here, and then this place, Endagala, isn't so secluded for meditation, coming to meditate, which is fine. I mean, people can enjoy the monument. But it's these kind of things that make one take the opportunity while one has it to make use of these special occasions, to make use of the time, to make use of one's health, to make use of one's teachers for this sake, developing them for the sake of ending suffering. The nice thing about this is there's a kind of difficulty to this and a nice thing. The difficulty is that when one encounters a pleasant situation, one doesn't want to think about how it's impermanent. one wants to rush out, one tends to want to rush outwards and enjoy that experience. Actually, thinking about its impermanence limits one's ability to go out and get absorbed in that sense pleasure. Actually thinking about heedfulness, wait a minute, what am I here to use this for? I'm not here to use this just to have a pleasant time. I'm here to use this for a higher purpose. Thinking this way limits one's ability to rush out and be absorbed into whatever external world there is. But the thing about limiting one's involvement in the external world this way, just using it for things that are skillful in line with the Dhamma, is that when the time does come for these things to change, one doesn't regret it on at least two levels. One doesn't regret it, number one, on the level because one's already prepared, thinking about how it's going to be impermanent, and one has kept that in mind. The other thing is one doesn't regret it on the level because one has used one's time there to the best effect. One doesn't pine away after the sensual pleasure so much because one knew it was going to end, and one also used one's time there well. So one tends to reflect, I've done what I could. I did my best there. I did what was skillful there. I did what was necessary there. And this applies not just to the small things, but it comes from one practices it in a smaller scale, like coming to a place of quiet, like Endagala, and realizing that one has an opportunity, and these opportunities could change, and one tries to use that opportunity to the best one can. But these kind of small elements of practice grow larger, and one ideally tries to apply them to one's whole life. Because in the Buddha's teachings, this human birth in and of itself, being a human, being able to encounter the teachings of a Buddha, having a body that's healthy, having a mind that's healthy enough to practice in line with them, having all these conditions come together are extremely rare. It's something that is encountered, maybe 1 in a billion or something, 1 in a trillion times one is reborn, something like this. So for this reason, one takes this practice in a small scale and applies it to a large scale. One tries to live one's life keeping this perception of impermanence in mind, that my life is subject to ending. It's not something that basically belongs to me even, something that will go away. One tries to keep this quality of heedfulness in mind with one's life. This life is here for a purpose. I have a purpose in this life, and that purpose is to try to go as far as I can towards ending suffering. What that will tend to do is it'll stop one's mind necessarily from rushing out and say, being totally immersed in the external things in the world. One might not be able to get as much, say, momentary enjoyment out of, watching a movie if one is heedful. One may even limit those things to try to practice more. One may not get so much momentary enjoyment in going to watch fireworks or, food and drink and all these various things. But in limiting one's enjoyment of these things in line with the Dhamma, one doesn't suffer when one's ability to enjoy them changes. One doesn't suffer when, if coronavirus comes, one can't watch too many movies. One doesn't suffer if the restaurants are closed. One can't go out and eat at them. And in the same way, when things change, if the archaeology department comes and sets up a big road to Endagala, it's no longer secluded. When things change in one's life, when one's life comes to an end, one can have the happy experience of looking back on it and thinking that one has lived a life well spent. One has lived a life devoted to finding the end of suffering. One has taken this opportunity that one has and used it to the best possible effect. One has made one's life worth living. And so this is something that can be happy now, happy when one reflects that one's using one's opportunity well. It can be something that's happy at the end of one's life. And it can also lead one to maybe the highest forms of happiness that one could say, which is when one has success. If one has success in the Buddha's teachings and realizes the permanent cessation of some or all of the defilements in one's mind. Because this is the highest purpose for which one can use these opportunities, and this is the highest purpose for which one can spend one's life, to try to find an end to suffering. Okay, so leave that for reflection, and wishing everybody all the blessings of Dhamma practice. Pati Pati Saranai.